Thank you all for coming. It's the CBI's first Midlands cybersecurity conference. I hope that you all appreciated the warm-up act that we arranged for yesterday when our Chancellor announced a £1.9 billion investment in the UK cybersecurity. That was very kind of him. But it's a real signal, actually, of how seriously this is being taken now, both at a national level in terms of national security, cyber terrorism, the new language that the Chancellor is using around that, and at a business level. And I hope today will be evidence of that. I wanted to start, though, before I give a brief introduction, with a video we've got. It's a video from Jim Baines, who's CEO of Baines Packaging, a business that he's been growing for 20 years. And the video shows just how one small mistake can have unforeseen consequences. So if we start with that, I think that would be a nice opening.
I'm a whale. You're a whale. Everyone on your board is a whale. The hackers know we have access to the really big prizes, our intellectual property investment plans and all kinds of commercially sensitive information, so it's no surprise that we make such valued prey. But you'd think that we, the leaders of the world's enterprises, are making sure that our organizations are protected, resilient, and very secure. But that's exactly what we're not doing. Just a few months ago, I made a stupid mistake. I clicked on an attachment I shouldn't have. It was careless, and now my business is in danger. I was the first target, and my friend and colleague, the CFO of my biggest customer, was the second target, the bigger whale. They used me to get to her. Now we're both in big trouble. Why? Because I thought I was immune. I wasn't in the line of fire. I had my back covered by my people in IT. But none of that turned out to be true. I took cybersecurity for granted. We had stuff in place, firewalls and antivirus, etc. I knew very little about what threats were actually out there. You see, the root of the problem is the fact that I didn't challenge the people below me in my own organization, the people who were supposed to be able to tell me the truth. And the truth is, my own human frailties are just as much a danger as theirs. People like us, powerful people like us, have to be careful what we believe and who we trust. We have to see through advice, be certain of what we want, be honest about what we understand and what we don't. And there's a lot that we don't. That's the only way to survive and stop being a whale.
Sobering thoughts, I think. I mean, how many of us can actually say that we don't sometimes take our cybersecurity for granted? How many of us can say that the data that's flowing through my pocket now, my bag now, my desk at home, my desk at work, all while I'm standing here, I fully understand the 8, I think, wireless networks that I've passed through and used so far today, and countless other mobile networks. I can't say that I fully understand which one of those were genuinely secure, what data I was making available, what implications that has for me, let alone for my employer, the CBI. It's a new world for many of us, and I think so much to look at. And if we just pause for 3 seconds, a sip of water, that in that time, every 3 seconds, a business's website is infected with malware. Again. And again, up and down the country for all of our businesses. Again, quite a sobering thought. And the cost of that, the cost of just fixing it is, on average, 36,000. For some, much, much more, depending on the business. But research has been done with you, and actually it's not that 36,000 that matters, really. Of course, that's not great. But what matters is the asset recovery, the damage in trust with customers, the reputational impact, those things where we know if we lose them, we lose. And so that issue now is so important to government, to CBI, to our members. I think when you look back over the last few years, sometimes businesses have been accused of a lack of will, not taking the issue seriously enough. we can now, I think, really dispel that myth. It's quite clearly not a lack of will. When I look at the people coming today, the people coming to the other conferences that we are holding, it is, of course, many leaders in IT and in technology, but it's also MDs, it's also FDs, it's also communications directors, a whole host of people from across the organisation, as Jim was saying, starting to show that actually this is genuinely seen as a business-wide issue. This is not seen as something you can put, on the floor in one department. It's something that all of us, whether at board level, whether at management level, whether as individual colleagues and workers, need to take responsibility for. And it's being seen no longer as an issue of will, but yes, still, in many ways, an issue of skill. It takes on average 90 days to know that you've been infected. We cannot sit here and say we've solved the issue if there are so many stats like that out there. So that's what we're focusing on today. We've taught to you. You've told us that there are 3 things that you want to hear, all of which need to lead to action.